Hi, good morning. This is Monica Brown from CRW Radio. As you know, I'm the director of content, and for this particular few weeks, I will be interviewing all the hosts of all the different shows that we will be having on the radio station as from November. So today we've got Namatama Sakabilo. I actually asked her before we started this recording, do I pronounce your surname correctly? Because it's a
Oh,
very
yes.
important thing for people. Yeah, Namatama is based in Zambia. And she will be the host of the Gender in Conflict in Africa show that will be broadcast every Tuesday between, I think, if I'm correct, between 11 and 12. So that is going to be a very good time for everybody to get in there and to listen to what she's got to say. Namatama, really, for us, it's a big privilege to have you on board. And I just want to give the listeners an idea of who we've got here. Actually, she's a celebrity in her own space, to put it mildly. Okay, she's a gender and social development expert with over 15 years of experience at the national level, and then another 2 years or over 2 years international experience as a gender advisor at the SADC mission in Mozambique in peace support operations. And as you know, currently, conflict is happening in Mozambique and it's all over the news. So, Namatama, without any further ado, welcome to CRW Radio. And I would love you to tell the listeners who you are, where you're from, how you ended up in this profession. Because when I saw your pictures in the army uniform, you actually make army uniform look like fashion. So I just needed to give you that compliment. I hand it over to you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Monica. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of CRW Radio. So you've already introduced me. Um, so to start with what made me think of picking on this topic, you may wish to note that growing up, I actually wanted to be a soldier. So when I
Okay.
went to secondary school, I actually joined the cadet movement. I was actually at the highest rank in the cadet movement at the female secondary school where I did my grade 10 to grade 12. So upon completion of my grade 12, I actually wanted to enroll in the military. Unfortunately, my father threatened to disown me if I took up
Oh, okay.
if I took up that career. So that's how I abandoned it. But you know, when you have a vision, there's always a way in which God will bring you back to what your dream was.
That's so
And
true.
so and so through my work in the government of the Republic of Zambia, I went to assistant director level, which is deputy director in some countries. So through that channel, I found myself studying peace and security. So I went to different institutions to just study that.
Mhm.
And so a combination of gender and peace and security, that became my passion. And so at some point, an opportunity came for me to go and serve at the SADC mission in Mozambique. So it was actually a risk that I took. And you know, peace and security has to do with risks.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
actually took a risk. Yes, I actually took a risk to go and work in the actual conflict zone. You may wish to note that Cabo Delgado has been in conflict since 2017. And so the SADC mission in Mozambique was deployed in 2021 to go and help the government of Mozambique deal with acts of terrorism and the threats of violence. So I was privileged to go and serve as a gender advisor from 2022 until July this year. So I returned recently from my tour of duty of Cabo Delgado province in Mozambique.
Your family must be happy to have you home.
Oh, yes, they are excited.
That's good.
They are excited because I was away for over 2 years. Of course, I would visit them once in a while, but I thank God that I have a supportive husband who actually allowed me to go and save my country in Mozambique.
That's amazing. So tell me, Namatama, currently in Africa, there's quite a lot of countries that has got a lot of conflict situations. So the particular show that you will be hosting, tell us what type of content can we look forward to, what type of discussions, and because nobody wants to really talk about this, and that is why I took the opportunity when this arose to really educate, inform, and also tell people about what is really happening with regards to conflict and gender in Africa at the moment.
Thank you so much. So you may wish to note that conflict disproportionately affects women most of the time, women and girls. They are the most affected in terms of being victims of gender-based violence, in terms of being displaced, and also in terms of trafficking. I'll give you an example of the situation where I worked for the past 2 years and 4 months, Cabo Delgado province. There was an estimated 1 million people that were internally displaced. And out of that 1 million, 80% of that population was women and children. And most of them were in IDP camps. So when I talk about IDP, I mean internally displaced.
Mm.
So you find that when there is conflict in any community, in these countries, we are talking about Somalia, there has been conflict for years. We are talking about South Sudan, there has been conflict for years. Talk about Sudan itself. Talk about Central African Republic. There have been conflicts for many years. And the most of victims there are civilians. And most of them are women and children. So when there is conflict, women are exposed to a lot of risks. They are exposed to sexual exploitation and abuse. They are exposed to sexual violence, for example. They are also exposed to many other issues, such as lack of access to sexual and reproductive health services, lack of contraception. Why? Because most of the health facilities would have been damaged through conflict. So through this show, I want to talk about what is happening on the ground, following my experience, my lived experience in Cabo Delgado, and also what I have learned from other countries. So this show will bring out those voices. We'll be able to talk to people that have been in conflict situations, that have been affected, and how they have managed to be resilient despite going through these tough times. So on this show, we are going to bring guest speakers from all walks from all walks of life, from different countries. We will speak to both men and women. We will speak to women in uniform. We will also speak to religious leaders to give us a feel of what is happening on the ground and some of the initiatives that are being done on the ground. So we want to bring about a dialogue that is vital to bring out gender roles and how the peace and security processes go in all these conflict-affected areas.
Yeah, that is really, being a GBV survivor, gender-based violence survivor, turned activist, turned consultant. My passion is always about what can we do better next time to prevent it, or because I'm somebody that's very proactive. I'm not reactive, because sometimes when you have to pick up all the pieces, it becomes very difficult to assist. So I'm very passionate about what you're going to do, and I'm very excited because I firmly believe that by opening the dialogue and by informing communities and people in the diaspora that will be listening to this particular show might have been affected by this, but
Exactly.
nobody ever spoke about it. So we happy that we having somebody that's on the ground, that was there, that has seen the pain. Because
Yeah,
yesterday something I said to somebody was, when something comes from the heart, it really affects the heart. So
exactly.
you speak from the heart, and you will be sharing the
Yes,
stories from the people on the ground, because they are voiceless where they are now. Nobody,
exactly.
nobody see them, nobody hear them, and you will be like that person that has been with them, and you'll be able to give us a voice for them. So yeah, we're very excited, and I know all the excitement is going on all over. Um,
I'm
if
excited too.
I know, and I'm
Oh,
excited that
yeah.
I was able to convince you to come on board, because I've been following your work for a very long time, just like you've been following my work for a long
Yes,
time. And I believe that both of us are here to build each other and to support each other.
yes,
And I also want to come on your show one day, if you don't mind. I just want to come.
exactly.
I just want to come and
Oh,
share my
yes.
my 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 short little bit of what I've been doing all this time. So
Great. That
Namatama,
would be great.
yeah, no, and I want to come to Zambia. I promised you that I'm coming there. Um,
You
I
are
want
welcome.
I want to travel Africa, and I want us to do some great work in the country through the radio station, and
Yes,
build capacity and empower the communities in Africa through this particular show. So Namatama, if there is any message that you have for the listeners today? Because I think many people will listen to this and say, this has got, maybe we in South Africa or we in Mauritius, and we in a place where we don't actually have that type of conflict. What would your message be to them as Africans? Would you say that, because I have a message for them from my side, not on your behalf, you have your own message. I just want to say to people today that the time has come that we get involved, not
yes,
physically, but you can get involved by voicing your opinion and voicing your concern, and by supporting organizations, and even to get specialist people like Namatama in to actually come and share a story, so that
exactly.
you know what is really happening on the ground in Africa. So that is
Exactly.
my message to people out there. What message do you have for them?
Thank you, Monica. So the message I have for people out there is that conflict does not choose where it should where it should take place. Most of the countries, believe you me, we are not aware, or maybe they didn't see it coming. But conflict strikes when you least expect it. And so we should not stay aloof and say, because these conflicts are happening in Somalia, for example, these conflicts are happening in Mozambique. Mozambique is just a stone throw away from where we are. I know that Maputo is just about 55 minutes flight to Johannesburg. So we should not stay aloof and say, because conflict is happening in other countries, it won't happen in our country. We need to be on our toes to ensure that we put in place measures that will prevent these conflicts. we have the United Nations Council Resolution 1325, which provides for development of national action plans. Unfortunately, most of the countries say they cannot have a national action plan on peace and security because they have never been affected by conflict. But what I'm saying to them is that we need to ensure that we develop these action plans to ensure that we prevent conflict at all cost. Or if conflict erupted, we will be able to know what measures to put in place to respond to conflict. I think that is the word I have for them.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that you actually mentioned that, because if I look at when I came on board with my GBV consultancy, most companies were saying, but we're not affected by this. It doesn't affect me.
Exactly.
And what I said to them was, it might not affect you now, but you do not know what's going to happen in the future. You need to have sexual harassment policies in place. You need to be ready for when it strikes you or strike your organization, that you have the necessary measures in place. And I firmly believe that everybody listening out there that's in a capacity of authority, that knows that your services are needed, will definitely make contact with you. So Namatama, thank you so much for taking time out. I know you're a very busy lady, and I know you're home and enjoying some time and attending to some personal matters as well. But we are completely in awe of you, and we cannot wait to hear the stories, because I always say you cannot go clean somebody else's house while you are living in filth. And that is what we need to start doing. We need to start sorting Africa for Africans, so that we can go through Africa in peace and have the peace that we deserve on this continent. Thank you so much, Namatama. We love you already. Cannot wait to hear more from you. And to all the listeners out there, just get your seatbelt ready, because when this lady come on with her show, you'll be blown away. I promise you. I've been in awe of her all the time when we have our conversations. Thank you so much, and have a great day further. Thank you, Namatama.
Thank you so much, Monica. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Bye.